Everyone's obsessing about deliverability in cold email. Fix your SPF records. Warm up your domain. Disable all tracking. But what if I told you that deliverability is actually not the biggest problem anymore? Sure used to be. Just last year, email were having a hard time landing in the inbox and deliverability was all the rage. But we solved it. How? Well, before I tell you how, allow me to quickly address who I am and why you should listen to me. I'm Jeremy, the founder of QuickMail, one of the first cold outreach platforms created 11 years ago. We send millions of emails on our platform each month for hundreds of cold emailers, and because of this, I can share data that no one else has access to or is willing to share publicly. So how was deliverability solved? 3 things. The first one was to continuously monitor inbox engagement and replace bad performing ones with fresh new ones. Since it's hard to do at scale, we automated all that in QuickMail and called it Deliverability AI. The second one came when Microsoft penalized bulk senders for sending the same content. It forced everyone to send really unique messages to bypass Outlook spam filters, which you can do with one click in QuickMail by enabling Reword with AI. Nice try, Outlook. And if this wasn't enough, this year we are the first platform to release stealth mode that makes the sending software 100% invisible to Google. Can't penalize what you can't see, right? So when I looked at all the stats in QuickMail, it was clear to me that deliverability was not the main problem anymore. So what was it, and what should we actually focus on instead? The list? The offer? The copy? All of them? Not really. Just like deliverability, all these are elements you need in order to have a good performing campaign. The real problem is actually the lack of replies. And I get it. Blaming deliverability is only natural when getting crickets, especially for people who are used to getting 10% reply rate. But today, the market has evolved. People are more knowledgeable and only reply to an offer that makes sense to them. But if deliverability can be fixed by changing the software, like moving to QuickMail and taking advantage of a few options, the lack of replies will require questioning the strategy, the list, the offer, the copy, and all the other elements that makes for a successful campaign. And that takes time and effort. Last month, I was helping a few people with their outreach. One person wondered why he wasn't getting any results with his campaign. He was so focused on deliverability that he didn't check the fundamentals. When we started reviewing his campaign and checked his prospect one by one, we didn't even make it past the first 10. None of them were good targets. No wonder he wasn't getting any replies. Deliverability was irrelevant in this case. If your campaign never produced results, do check your fundamentals instead of quickly blaming it on deliverability. And if you still think deliverability is a problem after that, I'll show you a trick or two you can use in order to assess it and fix it. But first, let's go quickly over the fundamentals of a good campaign. Most people think it's all about finding prospects and writing good messages. But there are still a few boxes that needs to be ticked. The first one is your mindset toward cold email. For example, if you think cold email doesn't work, it's going to be hard to pull off a winning campaign. Since it's important to approach cold email as a favor to your recipient, you need to put yourself in their shoes. Think how much more successful you would be if your recipient were grateful to receive your emails. If in doubt, remember that the goal of a cold email is just to open a conversation, not to sell something. The second element is your strategy. Never send any email without one. It's like showing up to a marathon without preparation and expecting it to go well. It's not impossible, but man, it's going to be hard. Your strategy will determine everything. Your game plan, what angle you're willing to take, who to contact exactly, what to say in your first, second, or third messages, and so on. So better make sure it's a good one. Then comes prospecting. It's a big topic, but for now, make sure you verify a few prospects manually before starting the campaign. The next component is your message. What to say, in what order, and on what channels. This is worth multiple videos, but for now, make sure you test the content with a tool like spamtester.ai and pay special attention to the call to action. It needs to be clear and actionable. That way, you can quickly assess if the copy resonates with your audience or not. A simple worth considering question mark may be enough. Do verify that technical setups are correct, domain are properly configured, and nothing is blacklisted. We check this daily in QuickMail. And finally, often neglected is the handling of replies. But in our case, it doesn't matter since we aren't getting replies anyway. Okay, let's say you checked all the fundamentals, but you're still unsure if deliverability is the real problem. If so, you have a few ways to assess it. I'll give you 3. 1. Use the result from an auto warmer or an inbox placement tool. After all, if they tell you that you're landing in the inbox or in spam folder, it should be good enough to determine your deliverability, right? Well, it may sound good on paper, but it's not super reliable. It creates a lot of false positives, meaning it looks okay, but you're not delivering. Why? First, the inbox used to get the results are often too young or artificial or part of the same group, and Google can track that. Second, even if it gives you a glimpse at deliverability with Gmail, Outlook, and maybe a few other providers, it won't necessarily reflect your real deliverability with the providers that you need to reach out to. Every provider has its own way of filtering emails, and your sender reputation may be burnt with some of them. Finally, some inboxes may have been identified by Google or Microsoft as playing this game. And there is always a possibility that your deliverability may suffer after using such services. 2. Turn on your open tracking, at least temporarily. I get it, everyone's paranoid about open tracking these days, but flying blind is not a great strategy either. There is no reason why you can't turn open tracking on for a limited amount of time just to get a quick pulse. It won't destroy your campaign, and you'll get the information you need to assess deliverability properly. 80% open rate or more, no problem. 60 to 80% is usually what you would expect, so you can chill. Below 60%, however, is indicative of a potential deliverability issue. And if you're reaching below 20% open rate, let's just say that you aren't reaching anything else. If you're still afraid of the consequences of trying open tracking for a few days or months, just because a deliverability expert told you so, you have a lot of options to reduce the risk even further. Consider A/B testing, one version with open tracking, the other one without, and see if there is a real difference between the two in terms of reply rate. That way, you can share the risk amongst a few selected inbox, and it won't disrupt your entire campaign. And if you're using QuickMail, you can try a few more tricks, like disabling open tracking for Gmail only, or changing the 1-pixel tracking that every software is using with a real image, like your LinkedIn icon for your signature. That way, it's way less suspicious. And if you think you can't trust open rates because of bots, delay the open tracking by a few minutes to make sure it tracks only human interactions. 3. This last technique is not really my favorite, but I'll still share it. Think of creating a small campaign to contact businesses with a high propensity to reply, meaning they have an incentive to reply to you, like asking if they're open on Monday during lunch for retail shops, or if they accept candidates to an HR department, or how much their service costs for consultants. I don't like these methods because I'm all about providing value, and this clearly wastes the time of the recipient for your own benefit. But it does warm up your inbox nicely. There's still no guarantee it will match the email provider of your prospects. So a better tactic would be to contact existing or past clients with something that they want to reply to. If you find out that deliverability is the real issue, I'll be honest with you, fixing it is no fun. It's painful and it takes time. But the faster you react, the better your chances. Think of it like a disease that spreads. The sooner you catch it, the more options you have. And your solution will depend on how patient or impatient you are. The best approach is often to start from scratch. Buy new domains and new inboxes. There's no two way about it. You don't know what has been affected, the copy or the domain, so building everything from scratch is the safest option. But it also takes time. You can get new inboxes in QuickMail in about 3 hours, fully configured, with maximum deliverability, with stealth mode, but you still need to warm them up and wait until your domain is at least 30 days old. You can decide to cut some corners, but you'll run the risk of having to rewatch this video in 7 days. If you are in a hurry, you can brute force your way in. And this is how you do it. 1. You create a campaign and buy twice the number of domains and inboxes that you need. 2. Start the new campaign with half of your new inboxes. Put the second half on an auto warmer. 3. After 2 weeks, you retire the first half you sacrifice and you continue with the inbox that were warmed up. If you don't want to do step 3 yourself, simply turn on Deliverability AI and let QuickMail replace the inbox as they drop in deliverability. If you do this, you should expect results to improve instantly. Otherwise, review the fundamentals and make some adjustments, or you'll need to repeat the whole process again. Finally, it may be a good idea to start playing with multi-channel. Plus, you should anyway. It's not just a good backup plan. From what I can see in QuickMail accounts, combining LinkedIn and email, it's well worth doing. Alright, if you want to enjoy superior deliverability with all the bells and whistles, give us a go. Our advanced stats will allow you to get real insight into deliverability as you run all your tests. That way you can focus on what matters, getting replies.